Hello and welcome back to a new video on my channel. In this video I would like to talk about using binoculars for astronomy. So in this video I would like to talk about two specific binoculars. So I would like to compare the 10 by 25 and the big 20 by 80 binoculars, and I would like to talk about using them for astronomy. So if you're planning to buy one of these binoculars for astronomy but still you're not sure which of these binoculars are the best choice for you, then this video will be really helpful to you, because in this video I would like to compare these different binoculars step by step. So as you can see, I have listed up different features that I would like to talk about in the next few minutes. So I would like to compare both binoculars when using them for astronomy, and in the end I would like to give you my final opinion about using these binoculars for astronomy, and I would like to talk about which of these two binoculars I would recommend for astronomy. And in the end I would like to give you one or two objects that you can easily observe with these binoculars in the night sky. This video is not sponsored and I'm not being paid for it. All products shown in this video were purchased by myself, and the opinions about these products are my own. But now I would like to start. So first of all, when looking at these binoculars or when planning to buy binoculars for astronomy, you can see these two different numbers. So in this case, 20 and 80. And these numbers are so important when planning to use binoculars for astronomy, because these numbers are very important. So in this case, the 10 by 25 binoculars will have magnification of 10 times, and the 20 by 80 binoculars will have magnification of 20 times. The magnification is very important for astronomy, but that really depends on which objects you would like to observe. If you're planning to observe the night sky in general, so a wide region of the night sky, these 10 by 25 binoculars are quite good because they do have less magnification. But the problem in this case is the aperture of these binoculars, but I would like to talk about that later on. In this case, you will have magnification of 20 times. 20 times of magnification is, in my opinion, one of the best magnifications you can have when using binoculars for astronomy, because the magnification is enough to observe a lot of deep sky objects, and that's very helpful because you can observe even smaller objects. The next aspect is aperture. So as you can see, there's a second number in this case at 25 and 80. And this means the aperture of these binoculars. So the aperture actually means the diameter of the optical component of your binoculars. Therefore, the aperture of your binoculars are so important, because in astronomy we are observing objects that are very dark usually. So I mean, for sure the moon is very bright, but there are also those deep sky objects, and these objects are usually very dark, and therefore it's very important to collect a lot of light. And therefore bigger diameter of your optical component is very important in order to gather more light. So the aperture is very important. In this case, you can see that when using these 10 by 25 binoculars, you will have an aperture of 25, and that's definitely not enough to observe these deep sky objects. So these binoculars are good for observing objects in nature, but when planning to observe deep sky objects, these binoculars are not that suitable for that. In this case, 18mm is definitely better. The next aspect is the field of view. So in this case, you will get a wider view of the night sky. So in this case, it might be more difficult to find objects in the night sky, but still it's very easy because the magnification is not that much. So when using a telescope for astronomy, it's definitely more difficult to find those very dark objects in the night sky. As you can see, these 20 by 80 binoculars are very heavy compared to these small binoculars. So in this case, they are very heavy, which might be a bit difficult when observing these deep sky objects. Therefore, when using these 20 by 80 binoculars, it might be quite helpful to use a tripod, but I would like to talk about that one later on. The next aspect I would like to talk about is the size. So the 10 by 25 binoculars, they are very portable for sure. They are not that heavy, so they're very portable. So these 20 by 80 binoculars are much heavier. So they are in the range of 2 kilograms. As you can see, these ones are very heavy. Therefore, they are larger and they are not that portable. Both binoculars are suitable for observing objects in nature, but the 20 by 80 binoculars are more suitable for astronomy. The 10 by 25 binoculars, they do have a very small aperture, which is not that helpful for astronomy. The next aspect I would like to talk about is using a tripod when using these binoculars, because as you can see, the 20 by 80 binoculars, they are quite heavy. So when using these 10 by 25 binoculars, you will not need a tripod. For sure you can use one, but it's definitely not necessary, and I do not recommend using a tripod when using these 10 by 25 binoculars. But when using the 20 by 80 binoculars, I would definitely recommend using a tripod. So in this case, it's necessary for sure, because these binoculars, they are very heavy, and when holding these binoculars, you will move all the time, and therefore you will not get a clear view of the night sky. Therefore, in this case, I would definitely recommend using a tripod when using these binoculars for astronomy. The next aspect is the price. The 10 by 25 binoculars, they are very affordable, so they are not that expensive, but the 20 by 80 binoculars, they are definitely more expensive because the optical components are bigger and therefore the build quality is better, and in general these 20 by 80 binoculars, they are definitely way more expensive. But now to my final opinion about using these different binoculars for astronomy. In this case, it's very easy to answer that question, because in this case I would definitely go for the 20 by 80 binoculars, because they do have a larger magnification, which is very helpful for observing these very small objects, and you do have a higher aperture, which is very important when observing these objects in night sky. For sure it is quite heavy, which means that you need a tripod for sure, but still I would definitely go for the 20 by 80 binoculars. So if you have any more questions about using these binoculars, definitely make sure to ask me down below in the comments. I have already made a video about these 20 by 80 binoculars. I will link the video right there. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check out this video. In this video, I would like to introduce the binoculars to you and talk about whether I would recommend them or not. So as I have already mentioned, both binoculars are suitable for observing objects in nature, but for astronomy, the 20 by 80 binoculars are definitely more suitable. And as I have already mentioned, this video is not sponsored and not being paid for it, and all products shown in this video were purchased by myself. As I have already mentioned, in the end I would like to give you one or two objects that you can easily observe with these binoculars in night sky. So the very first object that's very easy to observe is the Orion Nebula. It's a very easy object because it's very easy to find that object, and right now in winter it's a great constellation to observe, and the Orion constellation in general is very interesting. And on the other side, the Orion Nebula is a very bright object, so it's very easy to find that object. Another object that is very interesting is the Andromeda Galaxy. And when looking through these 20 by 80 binoculars, you can even observe the spiral arms of that galaxy. But that definitely depends on the conditions where you're observing these objects. So definitely make sure to observe these objects when there's a new moon and try to escape the city light pollution, that's for sure. So if you have any more questions about using these binoculars for astronomy, feel free to ask me down below in the comments, and I will definitely help you. If this guide in this video was helpful to you, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Clear skies, Felix.